dying enemy of G.I.Joe. Destro is his name. Destro is his name.
Welcome back to the dungeon. Let's get into it. I'm going to talk about Quick Kick and Beachhead and their mail-in and Russian Funskool counterparts. So let's dive right in. 1985, saw the introduction of one of the maybe oddest figures on that line that year, only because he was barefoot. And in the cartoon, he was kind of goofy. He had his candy bars, and off the top of my head, I rightfully cannot remember what they were called. But the Quick Kick is the original 1985 version. Expert martial artist, went up against Storm Shadow a couple times, namely in the cartoon. He got his, if I remember correctly, got his ass handed to him. Fudgy bars. I knew it would come to me. Got his ass handed to him by Storm Shadow. Like I said, he's barefoot. It's kind of weird with the whole, army thing, and especially why would the guy go out in the Arctic barefoot and shirtless, for that matter. But nonetheless, he was always a fan favorite, I think. Comic books, he was a little more of a badass. And not so campy as he was in the cartoon. So Quick Kick came out in 1985. He came with a small gray backpack, a sword. It was relatively stiff. Had a little not too much give to it. There's a couple of backpack variations over the years, some different color variants and whatnot. It came with nunchucks that were moderately flexible. Overall, it was a pretty good figure. Pretty bright. His sash is a pretty bright red. Some pretty bright blues on his belt. Headband. The Japanese flag. The single white with the red dot for the rising sun. Headband that he had. Pretty solid figure. In 1991 ish, there was a mail-in Quick Kick, and he was actually produced in Brazil, not China like the original one. So his plastic, this is the 1991 Brazilian mail-in Quick Kick, and right out of the gate you can see maybe the tones are a little different. Without me holding up the other figure, you can kind of see the skin tone is a little different. This is not really red as much. Maybe to you in the camera, like in person looking at it, it's a little more orangey than red. Blues are about the same. So if I hold these two up together, maybe it's a little easier to see in the light. This is the original here, and this is the mail-in here, and you can see you can definitely see the skin tone is definitely a little paler on this one than it is the original. The accessories, as far as the accessories go, the 1991 mail is being produced in a different place, different molds, different plastics, etc. His sword is much flimsier, and it's hard to see in the camera, but it's almost translucent at the tip. Like when I'm looking through here, I can see the light coming through the edge of this. Let me see if I can do this for you. See how like much flimsier this is, and in the right light, it's almost transparent. But still, pretty good figure. Something else that what I mentioned earlier about the backpacks. Here's the original in this hand, and you can see the difference in the color of the backpack. Original, slightly lighter gray. 1991 mail-in, darker version. Blues are pretty close. The mail-in version, his headband is actually like a tad darker in the back. You can see the white stands out much more on the back of his head there. There's subtle differences. They're not, they're not extreme. But it's important to look for things like this, because if you're just on the hunt for a Quick Kick and you're out looking at Mercari or eBay or Facebook Marketplace, whatever. And you're like, oh, Quick Kick, oh, he's complete, and whatever. You might have to ask some questions, and I know it's hard. It always has been hard to make those distinctions online. You get somebody that takes a really, really good photo, or a really, really poor photo can like make or break what you're seeing as the buyer. I mean, I've done it a couple times. I've purchased something that was like spot on, and maybe a color gradient on their end, taking the picture. You know, if I take this mail-in version, or actually, we'll do it the other way. If I take this original version and I edit the photo a little bit and lighten up the tones and lighten up the colors a little bit, I could probably make it look like the mail-in version. And then I go on eBay and I say, hey, I'm selling this mail-in version, blah, 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 so and so. And then you get them and you're like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's just something to be mindful of. And especially now, I hate to say it, with AI generated items and AI edited items, you just got to be more cognizant of what you're looking for and what you're looking at. Which brings us to, which I think is kind of cool. Here is a third. This is now you can see the progression of these. I only have two hands, but so this is. I'll let you guys maybe take a guess in the comments. I mean, I'm going to tell you obviously, but so this is a Russian it's Funskool, so it's India Funskool. He was just on a Russian card back. There were 24 figures from Funskool that were sent to Russia as a group of action figures for that run. Quick Kick was one of them. So it's not Russian made. They're on a Russian card back. It's India Funskool figure. But what's kind of cool about this is you could see, so if I take the Funskool figure, and here's the original, so now you can see the reds, or you can definitely tell the difference in the reds. You can tell the difference in the plastics. You can tell the difference in the skin tone, especially at the feet. Look how much darker the Funskool figure is. And then most notably, if I take the original and put him aside and bring you back the Brazilian figure. So here's the Brazilian one. I'm sorry. There's the Brazilian one. And there's the Funskool. Let me turn his around so you can see the sword. You see how much lighter the sword is here on this one, the Funskool one? And if I hold it up just by itself, I'm trying to figure a way to put this into the light. There, that's probably the best I can do. You see how much lighter this is? This sword is near see-through entirely. The plastic's much different, and in reality, his head is actually a teensy bit smaller by comparison to the other two. It might be really hard to tell on the camera, but you can kind of see it's ever so slightly smaller. Also, the paint apps are not as great as so. It's you degrade a little bit as we went down from the original made in China figure 1985 to the Funskool India Funskool version. So, and I'll put up a picture of these guys. I'm gonna try to get something incorporated into the video. And we're doing a twofer on this one, so I'm gonna introduce another absolute fan favorite figure to this, who's had also Quick Kick has had his classified version made, so he's in the classified ranks now. We also have this gentleman here, who's also an absolute collector's favorite, Beachhead, 1986. Super favorite of many collectors, including myself. Typically floating around without his cojones. Usually doesn't have his crotch. Sometimes hard to find complete. Very cool figure. I loved him as a kid. And he actually, he has his classified counterpart, but he actually has a very cool Funskool version of him here on the left. This is also a Russian card back version of Beachhead Funskool, India Funskool, that I got on a Russian card back. you can obvious. I mean, the differences are obvious. The shirt tone, the greens, his beret that he has folded up over his left shoulder in the original is much darker red than this one. His patch on his left. Sorry, turn this around. Patch on his left arm in the original is absent here on the Funskool version. You can see it on his left arm in the original version. Camouflage patterns. The patterns are kind of close, but obviously the color gradient between the greens and the browns is a little different. Shapes are a little different. Overall, I mean, weapons are the same. Different grays. You can see this is more of a gray, and this is like a silvery gray. Backpacks, black, and in person this is more gray, even though it looks a little greenish gray in the video. Great figure. Everything else is pretty spot on. Identical. Again, this is the Russian or the Funskool version of Beachhead. Pretty awesome figure. I really like these differences. Like the plastic's a little different. It's a little flimsier. Weapons are a little more bendy, so on and so forth. But that's kind of the fun of this. Is you find figures from different places. I never used to be really big on the international front when it come to collecting. In the last 5 years or so, I really got into it. A lot of things with Z-Force in the UK and Brazilian items, and I appreciate the time you guys spent with me today, and I look forward to seeing you again. If you're interested in checking out the video on the Russian cardback Funskool figures, got an in-video link description. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.
Enemy of G.I.Joe, Destro is